Consideration provided by TrueCar. The future of car buying is here. Visit TrueCar.com.
I'm really into this car. How do I know if I'm getting a good deal? I tell TrueCar my zip or which car I want, and TrueCar shows the range of prices people in my area actually paid for the same car, so I know if I'm getting a great price. This is how car buying was always meant to be. This is TrueCar.
For an itch or irritation, Cortisone 10 gives you the strongest non-prescription itch medicine, plus 7 healing moisturizers. It's good to be itch-free. Cortisone 10. Feel the heal.
Tonight at 11, the nightmare of the terror attack in Nice as told by a local college student.
Honestly, I didn't think I was going to see today.
She shares her frightening ordeal exclusively with Eyewitness News.
Plus, it's mostly fun in the sun this weekend, but could a thunderstorm spoil it? I'll tell you more on AccuWeather.
Shocking close call on a local beach leaves several injured. Tonight on Eyewitness News at 11.
This is what precision looks like, helping you see what's hard to see. Thanks to Terrain Denali's Side Blind Zone Alert that uses radar to watch your blind spots. So it's true. Mom does have eyes in the back of her head. The new, meticulously crafted 2016 Terrain Denali from GMC. This is the precision of professional grade. Now get cash back for 20% of the MSRP on these select 2016 GMC vehicles in stock. That's over $6,500 cash back on this GMC Terrain.
Hey guys, Mike is here. It's on me, fellas.
With the Chase mobile app, Stephen Curry can send money to more people in less time.
Thanks, Steph. No problem.
Even to friends at a growing number of other banks.
Ready to go? Come on, fellas, let's go.
Easy to use Chase technology for whatever you're trying to master.
Hello, I'm Victor, Space Cosmo, and this lady is
Anya from the Bronx, actual Optimum customer.
Anya is entering the brave new world. She doesn't want listening as she does. She does want my sci-fi movie with Optimum score to the package of the scenes.
That's great.
Anya says her favorite stuff, like me, without paying for stuff she doesn't want. Let's all thank you for the short about the mind.
Oh no, that
Optimum, let's connect more.
Summer's here, but we're the ones bringing the heat. Consider this your invitation to the Don Summer Clearance event. Right now, current lessees of competitive vehicles get a low mileage lease on the 2016 Dodge Challenger for $129 a month.
The story behind a shocking close call on a local beach at 11.
Tonight, it all starts with the ABC special Secrets of the Force Awakens, a cinematic journey.
Hi, I'm Felicity Jones and I play Jyn Erso in the new film Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. The movie releases this December, but you can see a very special sneak preview coming up shortly during this broadcast. You won't want to miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I allowed to talk about the process?
I said it out loud.
I can't talk about that.
I've locked it all away, like in a vault. In an internal vault.
This will be on after the movie comes out, so.
Shush.
Good. Fantastic. Thank you.
Star Wars special.
Seriously.
And then when I do all the interviews, don't say anything that.
What's it called? Secrets of the Force Awakens. Count Sharon? Yeah.
I was just astonished. I mean, I can't tell you. I mean, it was the last thing in the world I expected. Part of me thought, oh my God, no, it's just a terrible idea. I had a beginning, middle, and end. I can't really see anything that I could add to it.
I was surprised. I mean, you know, you say, really? We waited this long? It looked better like 10 years ago. We could have done it then.
At the end of the first 3 films that we made, I had no thought whatsoever about revisiting the character or whether there was any ambition to bring the 3 characters back again.
gave it a moment's thought. If I had been asked at the time, I probably wouldn't have imagined the potential for it.
The idea of the Star Wars saga continuing felt like a very unlikely prospect.
I think JJ's hesitation was everybody's hesitation initially, which is, wow, I want to do it. I don't think it's something I can do. It's too much responsibility.
What's the discipline?
What's the outcome going to be? Who's going to survive this thing?
Did you just start?
There were definitely tears from me along the way,
Oh,
but I thought that I might not be able to do it.
Best.
I thought that I was auditioning. I thought this was the last test.
I remember being scared of showing up on set and having no ideas.
I just remember thinking, oh my god, we are about to shoot this thing and I'm not ready.
You don't realize you start working on a Star Wars movie just how daunting that could be.
Obviously, I've been talking about retiring for several years now, where I'm not in the film business anymore. I don't have to run a corporation. And it occurred to me one day that the perfect person to take over the company was Kathy.
When the Walt Disney Company bought Lucasfilm, they very much wanted to have a movie by 2015. So the most important thing was to start to pull together the incredible talent for the film, and with someone like J.J. Abrams.
Where's my Powerball cable?
As of about an hour ago, it seems to have hit the press already, which is J.J. Abrams.
Don't you have one? Don't you have one?
When Kathy Kenny called and asked if I'd be interested in directing this film, I fully intended to say no because I'd been involved in other movies that were sequels, and I just thought I didn't want to do that again. But Star Wars and New Kathy. When we were discussing it, there was this one moment that I instantly had the chills, considering she was a young woman, what her story is. I had no idea, but saying, "Let's Luke Skywalker." It was so titillating, the notion that this character, who we all know, would be discovered by some new young heroine was incredibly intriguing. I just felt to me like that was a great starting point for a story.
Said Koff, his daughter.
It was very familiar to come back.
Lost which Leia sent her. Don't just send a random person to find Luke Skywalker.
Larry Kasdan, he was one of the first people that I picked up the phone and said, "Larry, we need you to come back in and be a part of this." And he didn't miss a beat.
I've collaborated with a lot of people, and this was as much fun as I've ever had. Really tends to be claustrophobic, airless, and tiring. This was not. The amazing thing about the process was that he took his iPhone with the recorder on, and we walked for miles and miles and miles.
I'd never done this before, wandering around, recording conversations. It felt good to kind of be in motion because so much of the movie's in motion.
And then, because of pre-production and everything, we wound up doing that in New York and Paris and London. It was like heaven. And the whole time we're like figuring out, like, what's the story going to be? What's the next Star Wars going to be?
There was a feeling when I was a kid, when I saw Star Wars for the first time, that it was all practical and real. There were things like being outside the Sandcrawler. It was a physical, tangible, real thing.
We're trying very true to be almost like a period piece, to really put the audience back 30 years after Jedi. So it's really doing a period science fiction film.
I love characters like this, I believe them and they're so sort of blend in.
JJ sort of threw a creative challenge to us. The first priority is to shoot it practically. But we kind of had to earn our stars, so you had to get that character to a point that it was worthy of going on the screen. We would show something to JJ and we would impress him enough for him to say, "I can use that."
And so the interaction of those physical things actually creates something that's not artificial seeming. It doesn't seem arbitrary. And then, of course, so that will be augmented by the visual effects. You build what you can, and then if you want to see more, there are this wonderful magicians of ILM that will come in and say, well, of course we can see more.
And Rick spent a lot of time with Industrial Light and Magic. We had these images that you could refer to, and some of them became kind of iconic.
It's been plugged in so long,
They go off and then react to that. It was great to hear that you were going to try and do as much on set as possible, because, real is hard to beat. We always try and augment our CG with live action elements. It gives a greater sense of reality, of course.
I think the interesting thing about Star Wars is it's a story that allows you to participate. Certainly for all young kids when the movie came out, they either wanted to be Luke Skywalker or Han Solo. And that was a part of our challenge, was how are we going to bring new characters into this series that have that same kind of power? And I think we have. I mean, I think one of the great things is we have a female lead.
What we were looking for was someone new, and this character needed to be vulnerable and tough, sweet, and terrified. And to find someone that no one knew who could do all these things took a lot of looking.
You always feel like you're gonna run out of time. You're like, oh, you know. But our casting directors, Nina Gold, April Webster, and Alyssa Weisberg, just did an incredible amount of work.
And we were very lucky to find some great people, but the truth is, it wasn't until we found Daisy that we just felt like she was capable of doing all of these things this character required. When we brought her in, I asked her to do this one scene, sort of this torture scene, very sort of intense, and she just blew my mind. She's reaching this depth, and tears were streaming down her face. I thought, this is unbelievable. And I asked her to stop, give her a couple adjustments, do it again, and she did it again. And I thought, oh my God.
I gotta take he would have disappointed you.
Get out of my head.
John Boyega was one of the biggest
She's
Star
never
Wars
acted
fans
before.
among the cast.
Huh?
And
She's never acted
auditioned,
before
I
that
think,
movie came out.
9 times.
Do you want to fight TIE? You fight anything? Why are you doing this? Because it's the right thing to do. You need a pilot. You need a pilot.
The conversation was kind of JJ like really explaining to me how things would change and if I felt supported and what have you. And he wanted to know about my background because we hadn't really talked about my family.
He asked me whether I was ready, and he was like, do you realize how much of a big responsibility this is?
He said to me, are you sure you want this? And I was like, if you believe in me, then I think I'm okay with that because I think you're pretty cool and pretty good at what you do.
He goes, well, you're the new star of Star Wars. And then everything stopped.
You know when like you're waiting for something and then the words actually come and you're like, okay.
He just said, I'm the new star of Star Wars. And he's like, no, don't react, breathe.
JJ said you can tell your parents. So I got in and my sister and my mum were there and I was like, I got Star Wars. And then it was like, oh my God. So yeah, but I couldn't sleep that night at all.
It was really, really hard just going through normal life without saying that I was constant Star Wars.
But yeah, that is the story of how it happened.
For those of us that have been working on this now for almost 2 years, it's incredible to realize that we're at this point right now. We had a cast read through just before we started shooting. It was really moving. Carrie and Harrison and Mark, I don't think any of them ever imagined that they would be shooting any more of these movies ever again.
I can't say that I didn't have some reservation about it. It wasn't hard to convince me. It's just that I had not imagined the circumstance.
I was very nervous. It was trippy to have Harrison and Mark and myself in a room together doing this again.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars Episode 7. At the last minute, I was asked to read the actual script. Usually the director does that. But in this case, he said he wanted to be able to observe, and would I do that? The Falcon and the surviving X-Wings roar past Canberra toward a planet.
That moment when we all sat in a circle and we saw all these faces, you couldn't believe what you were seeing. The young people and the veterans. This is a moment that will never be forgotten.
Hold on Luke Skywalker's incredible face, amazed and conflicted at what he sees as our music builds. The promise of an adventure just beginning. The end.
On the one hand, you had this sort of out-of-body, oh my God, I'm in this place with this crew. On the other hand, you had the most sort of primal terror of, oh my God, it was also the beginning of production.
That moment is like
Starting
point of the wagon train, you know, and everybody's gathering.
Saving it for deluxe edition.
I don't think we ever really felt like we were ready to
Prequels
go.
have the behind the scenes stuff. No one likes that. This is the movie that people actually like and have a special on it on DVD. It comes with the Blu-ray and the digital copy.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Basketball coach.
He's a first-year teacher,
Wait, how
so
long
he's
is this
not going
special?
to ask me for
6
anything.
months?
Bless his heart, you know. Our PE equipment was falling apart. When Target gave us the money, we went straight to Target. There's 3 shopping carts full of basketballs.
I think PE can be one of those things that helps kids get the confidence to be healthy and stay fit.
My advice? Look on the bright side. Aveeno Skin Brightening Scrub and Daily Moisturizer with active natural soy. Used together, they make
Look
skin look
forward to that
healthier
special
and more
stuff.
radiant in just
Behind
1
the
week.
scenes stuff.
Aveeno. Naturally
I was already forward to look at the behind the scenes stuff on DVD.
Yeah.
It's where I'm watching Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
I have for Star Wars for some reason.
I was looking for it on my DVD too.
Every stage.
I'm in the mood to see some extra stuff, especially when you watch the movie in 2 parts. You know?
Charmin Ultra Soft, so we don't have to wad to get clean. Charmin Ultra Soft gets you clean without the wasteful wadding. It has comfort cushions you can see that are softer and more absorbent, and you can use up to 4 times less. Enjoy the go with Charmin. 1,100 meals a year. 300 stressful decisions. No wonder our digestive system sometimes acts up. Try Activia.
Enjoying Activia twice a day for 4 weeks may help reduce the frequency of minor digestive issues.
It tastes great.
Introducing T-Mobile's most epic deal ever. Get a free Samsung Galaxy for each line and get 4 lines with 6 gigs each for just $30 a line. Plus, now everybody gets unlimited streaming from your favorite services. Don't wait. Get a free Galaxy smartphone and 6 gigs per line for just $30 a line. Hurry to T-Mobile now for our most epic deal ever.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you only earn double miles when you buy
Show the
stuff
sizzle
from that
reel for
airline.
Rogue One
Wait, is this where
during
you did the
Star Wars
Rochelle?
Celebration.
You should
What?
be getting double
They show
miles
the
on
sizzle
every
reel for
purchase.
Rogue One during Star Wars
Switch to
Celebration.
Capital One Venture Card. With
Scissor
Venture, you
World?
earn
Sizzle
unlimited
reel.
double
Like
miles on
footage
every
from the
purchase.
movie.
Everywhere,
Behind
every
the
day.
scenes stuff for Rogue
Not
One.
just
Like
airline
clip to the
purchases.
action or whatever.
Seriously, double miles.
Looks okay.
Everywhere.
Sizzle wheel is
What's
called?
in your wallet?
Sizzle reel.
It's number 1, Miracle Gel
I'm
from Sally
familiar with that
Hansen.
term.
The breakthrough 2-step gel manicure. Color plus top coat. Zero
Oh,
light
it's called
needed.
for behind the
Color
scenes
shine
stuff?
for up to 14 days. More chip resistant than regular nail polish. That's Miracle Gel from Sally
I'm still not
Hansen.
100% on board.
Before it became a mess,
Hopefully this trailer's decent.
I can't wait. I just love anything so.
scientists went to
Especially
work.
now, after
They
this.
examined 87 different protein structures.
You know
They
what
worked for
I mean?
12 long
Yeah,
years.
so that makes me excited for 8.
Well,
Thousands
even
of
the ones that
patient
sucked,
volunteers.
we were eager to watch it, you know.
Millions.
And, you know, we didn't think it sucked that much when we watched it. We watched it a few times.
Could be.
It's just that after a while, you start dissecting it. It's like, yeah, you know what?
Hey, I'm Tom Shred, and that's Brett Eldridge, and we're co-hosting
I like them more than most people, but even I'll admit like they're not the best. They're probably better on written on paper than actually executed. Because dialogue is atrocious.
They decided on until Wednesday,
And
August 3rd.
Yoda is terrible in the
You guys
prequels.
better get real comfortable.
Absolutely terrible.
Wednesday, August 3rd.
The councils are full of a bunch of idiots.
All units move in, go, go.
And people act like they're supposed to be powerful guys, and these all those idiots are sitting right in front of them. None of them can sense them.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. New season.
Not even Yoda and Mace.
Fall.
What the hell is going on? Right, so that circumstance, I just like a puppet Yoda.
Sunday.
Over the CGI nonsense.
We walk to set. I see this huge life-size TIE fighter crashed in the sand. For me, it was just amazing just looking around and taking a hand and saying, I am here. We are about to film this movie. And J.J. Abrams with his enthusiasm and his energy coming in and saying that we're starting Star Wars Episode 7.
I just want to say the obvious, which is that we are here on day 1 of Star Wars Episode 7. Yeah. How incredible is that?
Yeah, it's short down on DVD.
Excellent.
Should have all been on the DVD.
Alright, should we work someone else?
Should have taped it.
I just remember I was told that Daisy's doing her first scene. So I was just like, okay, let me go down and go see it.
What was the first scene when I was scrubbing the thing? My arm was aching.
I know, I was just relaxing and you were just working so hard. And you were just like this.
Oh, my arm was aching and I kept not being able to get it right. Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Happy Daisy!
Oh my God, you could literally feel sand burning through your shoes, which was crazy.
That and camera.
Then obviously Finn has to be in the Stormtrooper outfit. So let's just say it was a combination of sweat, passion, ice cubes, and a lot of water. A lot of acting involved. But at the same time, not a lot. Because it's hot. I'm exhausted.
What you brought me today is worth 1/4 portion.
It's about 40 degrees, I guess, so it's hot in there, but it's Star Wars.
Oh, that's it? Oh.
I've worked with JJ many times. When I heard that he was doing Star Wars, obviously I was immediately what? I kind of thought that being in it as me, as my face, and I think people go, oh, that's him from Star Trek, it might spoil it. So I was kind of torn because I was desperate to obviously at least be part of it in some way. And then we discussed the idea of me playing a character who was in full prosthetic, which meant I could have my space cake and eat it.
In Abu Dhabi, it was more cardio than anything else. And so a few weeks before the Abu Dhabi shoot, we were on the treadmill doing interval running. And what that did was just copied what happens on set. We would run super fast. We'd be running with the camera, a 20-second take. We'd breathe for a bit and JJ would be like, let's go again.
Without the guys who were training with, there's just no way. Neither me or John would have been able to get through Abu Dhabi. Give me a shake. Give me the guns. It was really hard. The actual hardest bit was when it was soft sand, hard sand. And one of the last runs was just a mix of the two. And that's just like a killer on the legs. Like it was almost a relief when there was explosions because you knew like there was only so many times that you could do the running.
You got set, energy, background action, and action BB-8. Just made BB-8 from the gates to escape from the TIE fighter attack. And I wasn't quite expecting that time.
Kid was very conscious on our part that there would be a new droid who's a major part of the story, and he's funny and sweet.
I didn't go through the film thinking, oh, this is going to be iconic. Oh, BB-8's like our version of R2. I never really thought of it like that. I was just like, oh, you're so cute.
And as you're walking, you're going to kind of glance at him, sort of slightly annoyed that he's convinced you to take him.
He was the first character I had real scenes with, and I was nervous because it's not a human being. But because of the puppeteers, he comes alive.
Dave's doing the head, and Brian's doing the LEDs on the bottom, and I've got the drive system.
Yeah, this is a cool version, and he is fundamentally a rock puppet. And this has been the one we've used most of all, as you get a really instant organic performance with it. What about the droid?
What about
It's
him?
almost ironic.
I asked
No one likes the
JJ if I could
prequels,
have a
but
bit more with
prequels have all the
BB-8
behind the
because
scenes
I
stuff,
think
how it's made
it's
and all
such
that.
a nice bond. It's such a
Nothing
nice
nice.
relationship. And he's this talisman, I guess, that is the first
Just some
constant
deleted
that Ray has
scenes
ever
that,
had.
what, like 2 deleted scenes in the DVD?
You're welcome.
Everyone watched them. Maybe a snake-like chase or something on the snow planet. All around the Millennium Falcon and something else. I can't remember.
We can't thank you enough. We love you forever. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad. You loved Brad. And then you totaled him. You two had been through everything together. 2 boyfriends, 3 jobs. You're like, nothing can replace Brad. Then Liberty Mutual calls. And you break into your happy dance.
If you sign up for Better Car Replacement, we'll pay for a car that's a model year newer with 15,000 fewer miles than your old one. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Gold Bond introduces an awesome center powder that keeps you dry like baby powder.
Hey, baby.
But it's not for babies.
New Gold Bond Men's Body Powder. More than a baby powder. It controls odor, wetness, and smells irresistible.
Stay cool.
Wait, no, my computer! Oh, wait!
What are we running after?
Oh, like stupid old computer.
Well, if you're so old, why are you chasing it? Is it slow? Weigh a ton?
Yeah.
What do you know?
No, today's PCs are faster and lighter, I know.
So why are we still running?
I don't know.
You know about it. Now do something about it. Upgrade to a new PC.
Oh, Charlie horse, call for help.
My episode 7 gets me excited for 8, especially the way it ends.
What?
Episode 7 gets me excited for 8, especially the way it ends.
One sec, my cell phone's ringing. Hey, girl, hey!
Now
It
get
gives-
up to 40%
it just-
off
to
select
me-
products at Lowe's.
It develops your thirst
Sally put a GoPro in a
for
washing
more.
machine.
And that's why I'm excited for the next one.
Process wreaks havoc on your clothes. Fresh
Star
them
Wars.
3,000 times every wash. Crushing them with 60 times the G-force of a rocket launch. And taking them in a dryer that can get hot enough to cook ribs. Detergent alone is not enough. Add Downy fabric conditioner to help protect clothes from stretching, fading, and fuzz. Learn more at howdownyworks.com.
How about when a young mommy coming home?
There are times when we make history. There are times when history makes us.
Capitol's been attacked. Congress. Anxiety. Sir, you are now the president of the United States.
Whoever did this is just getting started.
Have you ever watched that 24 miniseries?
To anything.
The miniseries that came back? Live Another Day or something?
You may be right.
24?
Yeah,
But for now, all you got.
never finished
I
it.
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. So help me God. Kiefer Sutherland is the designated survivor. Wednesdays this fall on ABC.
Is that a hammock made out of
Best show
Ethernet
ever.
cables?
Yep, it's our entire network.
Should you be doing that?
Well, dramatic show.
All of its
But you could
seasons.
play New York Lottery Snatch
All of its seasons.
Sorry, break the
Season
routine around
1,
here without
2.
making our entire network collapse.
1 and 2.
Good point.
3 was still good. After that, it got a little dry. And the last one that came out, the mini one, was actually pretty good. Well, you know, when they use the same formula, it can wear out a little bit. And that's why those shows can't
At
last.
BMW, we've always
Still
celebrated
wonder how
Drive.
Small got 10
Drive
seasons.
visionaries
Volvo?
and game changers. The drive
Out of
to
all
make
the
the
single
world
seasons,
a better
only like
place.
5 of them are actually
This
good.
summer, with your support, we'll contribute up to $1.5 million
Yeah, it's hard
to
to
Team
keep it
USA and charitable organizations in your community. BMW, Drive for a Cause. Take a test drive to support Team USA and help raise up
Very
to
difficult to
$1.5
keep those
million
shows
and
going.
beyond
When
during
they
BMW
keep the
Drive
same
for a
formula.
Cause.
They change it up. Yeah.
Slate one, take one.
We're actually in Pinewood Studios, and this is one of the stages that we shot on. One of many, actually.
Working at Pinewood was another incredible experience in this. This was a studio where some of the great movies of all time were shot. This is a studio where the James Bond films are made. You can't help but have reverence for the actual studio.
There's that pilot guy thing, like the 2 scenes in the movie.
Originally, Poe was going to die early in the film, and that was the script that Oscar saw. And one of his issues, one of his movie, was that he had made like 4 movies in which he died early on. And he was sick of dying early on.
A week or so later, JJ wrote me and he said, got to figure it out, Poe's in the rest of the movie now. And so this idea that Poe comes back was something that was added later, which obviously for me was incredibly exciting and fantastic. I get to live. Going forward, you know, what they'll add to the fight against the First Order will be really exciting to see where that goes.
It's going
stormtroopers are formidable now. They have all sorts of new weaponry, and they have a new way of fighting, and they're vicious and quite scary. When you see them on the set running out of those transport vehicles, it's frightening.
Captain Phasma is the first female Star Wars villain. I find it very heartening that a franchise like Star Wars, it makes it a progressive character, makes it a modern character, a new relationship with a female character, which isn't about her being sexualized. It's about us responding to the choices that she makes.
This just rests on the shoulders of this young man.
I was told that I was going to absolutely love my costume, and they put the helmet on me. I looked in the mirror, and I think I just giggled quite a lot. I thought, it's good to know there's a woman in there. So maybe subtly I can let that come across in the way that she stands, in the way that she holds her body. So there is something occasionally of a femininity to give this character a little bit more of an identity.
Sir, the villagers.
People want to tell you what your character is, and they have like such a vocabulary for those movies. Everyone likes to tell you you're a villain. I don't think villains think of themselves as villains. I think they probably really think of it as more being right, that they feel justified, and I think that makes somebody even more dangerous.
There's so many nods to Vader and I first meet him, and I think JJ was after something more youthful and unpredictable and someone who isn't polished.
The idea that this is a character who's influenced by that darkness started to allow a masked villain, which feels essential in the Star Wars universe, to take form and not feel like we were being naive and acting like there wasn't a Darth Vader.
It makes perfect sense that this guy has had a huge impact on everybody. And yes, this figure looms large for our villain too.
There were benchmarks for everybody. When we hit those moments in this story that were a huge recall to what the Star Wars series has meant to everybody, I think probably one of the most memorable moments was when we were shooting on the Millennium Falcon.
To be on a stage where you're actually seeing the Millennium Falcon, it feels sort of dreamlike. It brought some people to tears, literally.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally shaking. Like, this is insane.
I told you you're in Star Wars.
I just remember running up the ramp, just giggling. I went through that whole place, messing it all up. And all the props people and the guys on set were just kind of like, okay, can you control him? Because I started running, I went to the cockpit. There were little ball things, the Jedi training ball. I got that out, started rolling that around. Oh, it was so fun.
So I walked onto that set, completely overwhelming. I really am at 6s and 7s, to say the least. And then they introduced me to Harrison Ford. I had nothing to say.
My favorite personal story, I was shopping at a random department store, and sure enough, who do I run into was Harrison Ford. I tapped him on the shoulder and said, Mr. Ford, so my name's Darren. I'm one of the productions on the Stars. I'm actually building Millennium Falcon right now. And he goes, the toggle switches. I go, toggle switches. He goes, when we built it the first time, none of the toggle switches had any springs in them.
They bought broken switches because they were much cheaper. So if you stood there long enough, the switch, which was in this position, and you moved to this position, would slowly come down behind you while you were standing there because there was no spring in it. No budget for springs.
Okay, now it's here.
Can you put the springs in the switches this time? He said, yeah, boss, we got the budget for that.
Everyone was waiting for the line, which was Chewie, we're home. And we had given it the whole day because JJ really wanted it to be perfect.
Han and Chewie entering the Falcon.
I turned around and there must have been 200 people standing behind me, all staring at the monitor, wanting to see Harrison come into the Millennium Falcon for the first time. That was a huge moment.
And camera, action.
Chewie, we're home. Here, Peter is present on the set, offering his invaluable experience and advice. And it was great to have him there. Getting back to the openings, the old way to do things. That's right. I wasn't walking very well because I tore a tendon in this knee about 2 years ago. That meant knee replacement.
Because Peter's knees are not good. For many of the scenes, Jonas, who was a kind of stunt Chewie, is in the role.
When I put on the suit, I start rehearsing. I start doing what Peter does, and like these little wobbles and these Chewie-like awkward things that he does. Awkward but lovable.
I have had words with him about what Chewie does and what he doesn't do, and being relatively the same height does help.
I think I'm a little bit shorter than Peter was at his prime. At this point, I'm 7 feet. I believe he's 7'2".
Well, you tell him Han Solo just stole back the Millennium Falcon. For good.
We're about to shoot a scene where it's a little private moment of him in the cockpit. This is a kind of sweet little privileged moment to see him alone, taking it in, reunited with the ship that he loves so much.
I'd been away so long, I looked at it and said, this doesn't look right. Was this here? And they said, yes. I said, I don't remember that. Okay. I've spent a lot of years here. It was fun to see it again. There are things I remember about the cockpit and some of the funny stuff we went through.
Without precise calculations, we fly close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
I'm gonna miss him always. Can't really kill him off.
And now, here's an exclusive look at our new movie, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story.
It's like the fantasy you always have as a kid. Everywhere is an amazing shot and an amazing character.
The Star Wars universe is quite human. It's got a very human base, and for that reason you can relate to it.
Ready?
Action!
So your heart's beating and you're actually in this situation. You get something very genuine that you couldn't have planned.
You'll actually compose shots that if we were on a green screen set, you just wouldn't have known were available.
The pressure's so high. Like, we're making a film that's right, touching my favourite movie of all time. But then if you're too respectful of it, that you dare do anything new or different, take a risk, then what are you bringing to the table?
Next week,
You can't have a bad day at work when you see there are stormtroopers there.
Kids, when you were 4 years old, grew up with Star Wars figures. It's a bit like just being that kid again. You sort of go like,
may the force be with us.
This is the Dell Inspiron 2-in-1. It has 4 versatile modes and a 6th-gen Intel Core processor for getting more done. Like rocking marine biology term papers or making the baddest beats on campus.
What I'm talking to you, like, if this was set further back in time, it might work better. But at the end of the day, it has to lead into the first film. And that's the thing that hurts it, I think. That's further back. If they really do their own thing and space it out and make a couple of them. This is going to be a one-off. None of these characters turn the original ability.
Body powder. More than a baby powder. It controls odor, wetness, and smells irresistible.
Stay cool. It's all about staying dust our plans. They're never mentioned again.
Well, it gives us an opening to make in between movies.
Or a bandage that moves with you and stays on all day.
In between.
Cover with a Band-Aid brand.
Well, it's a big universe. You know,
For lower back
stuff
pain
can be happening
sufferers, the
here.
search for relief often leads here.
You know, like, where does this guy come from?
Or here. Today is a new option. Introducing drug-free Aleve Direct Therapy, a TENS device with high-intensity power that uses technology once only available in doctors' offices. Its wireless remote lets you control the intensity and helps you get back to things like this, or this, and back to being yourself. Introducing new Aleve Direct Therapy. Find yours in the pain relief aisle.
Now in production for ABC.
Action!
Speechless.
Excuse me, there's no handicap bracket on your car. I'm sorry, love, you were saying? He's all there upstairs and he's got a thing about staring. That's the finger.
I think it's a great opportunity to see a different kind of family on television. He's never had an age speak for him before.
Is my new voice cool? JJ! I was thinking I'd call you J-Tizzy.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
The script was really funny. Scott Silveri's a terrific writer who's writing from the heart. He grew up with a brother who had special needs.
Stop leaning on my wheelchair. What if it was more of a back on?
Speechless. Wednesdays this fall on ABC.
This was clearly our cantina. It was a nod to the cantina. But if you look at Star Wars, the notion that the cantina is one of countless watering holes that exist in various corners of the galaxy felt like it's fair game. It's Star Wars, and if you don't have a version of that, I would leave feeling like, well, where was that? How could they not do the cantina?
Very exciting.
Oh, Solo!
Hey, Maz.
Maz was a character that you meet at the moment in the film when things kind of come to a necessary pause.
Well, I know that JJ has been fascinated with motion capture, and it was something that he was really keen to have in his film. On set, everything feels so real. And then there's me in this headcam walking around covered in dots. There's 149 dots put on my face every morning. It was the most alienating thing in the world.
I became part of this whole thing from 2 different angles, as an overseer, if you like, or a consultant to do with performance capture. And of course, I was also playing the part of Snoke, the Nemesis character and general and leader of the dark side in this particular version. If Skywalker returns, the new Jedi will rise.
Yes. Andy has been a great support. He has encouraged me as much as possible to let go of the oddness of the things I'm wearing and just find the character as I would in any other circumstance.
Solo? What is she doing? Oh, very good.
You call me Solo.
So we're on E stage, which is the resistance base. At the very beginning of this, you say it's a Death Star, and then you say, who's that?
The scene that made me feel like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, is when all of the casts are around that table planning.
It's a really big stuff.
Weapon of that size. It uses the power of the sun. You see General Akbar speaking. You couldn't buy this as a Star Wars fan. It doesn't get any cooler than that. I can shut down the shields, but I need to be there on the planet. I mean, that scene was incredible, though. Poe Dameron's there, Harrison was there, Princess Leia, C-3PO, R2-D2's in the corner.
BB-8, you're wasting your time. In the first film, in episode 4, 3PO, his left leg was silver. The idea was that 3PO had a history. Star Wars didn't just happen out of nowhere. It wasn't page 1 of a new story. But you were kind of tuning into a chapter here. Move forward, and JJ takes that idea several notches higher. 3PO, he has a red arm because something's happened to him in the last 30 years.
You know, as a kid, I actually thought those were actual robots, not people in them.
Clearly losing a limb. And then, oh, hey, here's one. It's not the right color, but we'll spray it later. The story as to how he got his red arm is actually going to be in a comic book that they're doing as a separate piece.
I'm the custodian of Princess Leia, so it's my job to kind of protect her. It's my whole life, so I was very nervous. The first day I had was this massive scene. I was scared that I would make mistakes, and I made mistakes.
Destroyed maybe the one chance we have of finding my brother. She hadn't acted in a while. You know, I think she was nervous going into this.
It was basically the worst day I've ever had on a film set in my life. Then it ended, and I got to go to sleep and come in another day, and it was better.
Once we started to do it, she seemed to fall into it very easily. To bring a character to life that you hadn't played in 30-some years. I mean, I understand for all of them how daunting that could be.
Carrie's an amazing and unique person. I'm trying to be helpful.
When did that ever help? And don't say the Death Star.
We don't see each other that frequently when we're not working. So it was fun to catch up, and they've written some really interesting scenes for us.
You could always see how clearer than I did.
I don't know what I saw.
Can you imagine those two people together? They were good initially, and then they reverted to type.
I went back to the only thing I was ever any good at.
They both did.
The fun of celebrating the return of these characters that we know is certainly part of this movie, but I never felt like we were telling a story about Leia, Luke, or Han necessarily. It felt like a story about a generational handoff, that this was really a story about Rey, about Finn, about Poe, about Kylo Ren. And you can't have that handoff without cost.
You know, no matter how much we fought, I've always hated watching you leave.
It needed to serve this purpose of giving our new characters the mantle. And that was a big, scary decision.
If you see our son, bring him home.
Take on any road with intuitive all-wheel drive. The Nissan Rogue, Murano, and Pathfinder. Now get 0% APR for up to 72 months plus $500 bonus cash.
Volunteering is part of our core values at Target. We believe in giving back to the community. I am a store team leader for Target. My team's out somewhere in the community every month. We have a food pantry distribution today, so every child took home 22 pounds of food. to know that his students won't go to bed hungry is just awesome.
Jay knows how to keep his wheels spinning.
My shorts, Dad. They don't make them in adult sizes.
It doesn't really interest me that much.
Where? Look at the lines. Look at the other line. That's why he starts his day with those 2 scoops. Deliciously hearty.
Well, the way I see it, nice to have something to look forward to.
By taking steps
Besides,
towards healthy art, Jay knows he'll be ready for the turns
movies.
ahead. Hey, don't forget to put up your kids' school.
No, I'm never gonna watch
Kellogg's
that.
Raisin Bran.
What?
I'm never gonna
Kellogg's
watch
Raisin
that.
Bran Crunch now with more crunchy clusters.
You got better things to do.
That's what I'm saying. I look forward to it. I'm so
Keep your face as your password.
You know about it. Now do something about it. Upgrade to a new PC.
No, it's the concept. Like, people don't like young Anakin, so why would they like young Han Solo?
No. There's a bunch of different prices out there. All
Young Han Solo
Trivago instantly compares them
had a
to
career.
hotel.
He was a
For the best
smuggler.
price. Hotel?
Kesselron.
Trivago.
You read the books when they talk about the spice mines of Kessel, where they, what they did to people there, and all the different gangsters and stuff. He's got a history.
So Anakin was a slave, and he was a pilot and all that.
You're not yourself.
Yeah, but they rushed through Anakin stuff just to get to the whole dark side turn. See, but if you take a Han Solo, for instance, you can run that for a long time. Because you have the whole galaxy for him to go back. Okay, that's a lot of things in this galaxy. Well, we get to see some of those things now.
I almost got to see what TV
How
show
he
was.
met Chewie, what he did, how he saved Chewie to get the life,
Now, you would think your
whatever,
insurance company
life,
would cut you
life
some slack,
promise,
right?
whatever.
You know, he saved Chewie from being enslaved on Kashyyyk by Trandoshans.
What?
He saved Chewie from being enslaved on Kashyyyk from Trandoshans.
Drivers
Well, now you can see it.
Liberty Mutual won't raise your
Well,
rates
he
for
would
your
have
first accident. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Like you were just saying, that kind of stuff, if they talking about that long of a run, I want to go see a TV show.
All in one
Live action series.
ABC's new app is that place.
There's always going to be limited with movies, that way you can do.
ABC Current Series, ABC Digital Originals, and ABC Throwback.
Ellen, are you coming out or not? I'm getting
Anytime, anywhere. The new ABC app.
Quick Draw from the New York Lottery draws New Yorkers together in a fun way. Unlike sharing the last motel room with strangers when your flight gets canceled.
There's only one
Like,
bid.
you know what I'm saying?
I don't hear it.
No, it says you're talking about that long of a run of stories to tell for Han Solo. I'd rather see a TV series.
Children can be
TV
exhausted.
series?
Yeah, live action
My
TV
all-new
series on
Chrysler
Netflix.
Pacifica makes my life a little easier. And we're still in go
I
see
said the one-off stories for the Star Wars stories.
You're welcome. How's the vacuuming? Let's go. Let's go. Put it in there. Come on. Kids. Let's go. Daddy's exhausted.
Current owners or lessees of Honda or Toyota vehicles get a low rate on the 2017 Chrysler Pacifica for $229 a month.
Did you know pain is caused by aggravated nerves? Introducing the
You can't make too many of them because ultimately you got to become
desensitizes
Han Solo.
aggravated nerves to
Han
block
Solo.
pain for maximum
And
strength
if he
relief
gets to the
with
right
no
age,
longer
obviously he
irritation.
will be
New Aspercream with lidocaine
conflicted
patch
with
relieves
the
the nerves
character
to stop the pain.
and the time frame. So you can only make a couple.
It was the scene that I think that terrified me the most.
And yet it was an absolutely critical part of the story, and mostly perhaps for the villain of the piece.
His destiny is resolved in a powerful and effective way. I enjoyed playing the character in the first. I enjoyed playing the character in the second. By the time we got to the third, I thought there was possibly no useful purpose for this character except as a human sacrifice. It's not that I wanted Han Solo to die. I wanted Han Solo to be able to lend some significant emotional weight to the story. I was resolved to be useful and to pass on responsibilities to others and get out of the way.
We spent a lot of time keeping as few people as possible on the set, and it's a serious scene. It was emotional. It was emotional for the actors, both Harrison and Adam Driver.
I wanted to avoid that scene as much as possible, and then it was also very excited to do it. But to go to that place, what it brought up in myself was a lot.
We're not kidding here. This is serious stuff, and we wanted it to be right.
You have all these things that are going on in your head, but that really goes away when you're staring across from that other person.
The unique and very deeply emotional and troubling way in which Han Solo meets his fate, I thought gives incredible opportunity and helps realize the full potential of the character that Adam Driver plays.
He was so generous that there really wasn't much I had to do other than respond to him.
I don't even want to think how people are going to react to that.
It was a necessary component. This is not just the Force Awakens in a young woman. This is the dark side of the Force awakening in the villain.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a moment we acknowledge, perhaps a man who was a hero to us before this movie, but he's even more so today. And I cannot thank you enough for the gift of you for this movie. We love you. Harrison Ford.
Let's go.
Everyone's about a Kenobi film.
Huh?
Everyone's about a Kenobi film.
Wonder how I ever got this style. I said that's just how I roll. I couldn't go my way. The 2017 Ford
That's more interesting than Rogue One to me. At least the actual stories that he went through on Tatooine. You have to begin with something.
P&G, proud sponsor of Moms. Fruit, nuts, silky smooth dark chocolate. Revel in the pleasure of Dove fruit and nut.
Carol's painting with confidence because she went to Lowe's. She knows if she doesn't love it, they'll make it right. And being a parent,
That wasn't a trailer in that show.
okay, do you mind, Sparky?
They were promising a 3-minute trailer. Something here tonight.
Every coconut has a dream to come out of its shell,
I wasn't
to show
sure.
all the world its true inner beauty, and then
Still this morning during the celebrations.
unjoy mounds what every coconut wants.
Because I'm a woman, do you think I'm going to crack under pressure or conquer the field?
Defy expectations any day with Always Infinity. Made with Flex Foam. Absorbs 10 times its weight. Rewrite the rules. Always.
What if one piece of kale could protect you from diabetes? What if one sit-up could prevent heart disease?
One.
Wishful thinking, right? But there is one step you can take to help prevent another serious disease, pneumococcal pneumonia. If you are 50 or older, one dose of the Prevnar 13 vaccine can help protect you from pneumococcal pneumonia, an illness that can cause coughing, chest pain, difficulty breathing, and may even put you in the hospital. Even if you've already been vaccinated with another pneumonia vaccine, Prevnar 13 may help provide additional protection. Prevnar 13 is used in adults 50 and older to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. You should not receive Prevnar 13 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. If you have a weakened immune system, you may have a lower response response to the vaccine. Common side effects were pain, redness or swelling at the injection site, limited arm movement, fatigue, headache, muscle or joint pain, less appetite, chills, or rash. Get this one done. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13 today.
Next, what happens when her boyfriend shows up in this salon and he's...
You dating a white boy?
How will these women react?
Well, we kids look like Christian.
Wait till you see what our cameras caught.
I don't know anything about happening.
But what would you do? All new next on ABC. Sunday Fun and Games is all new and so exciting. You might need a defibrillator. Oh my God, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. So let the family view.
Give me a place you told a lot, save you skin.
Better.
So, was it good?
Yep.
The $100,000 pyramid.
Michael Fan's teeth, there's a little bit.
And that's game.
Have you ever put your thing in the wall?
Over and over again. Meet Sunday Fun and Games, starting 8/7/7 on ABC. Time and temperature from TD Bank.
That was so cool.
Looks nothing. I can see the Falcon on screen either.
The way into Star Wars.
It's doing so weird not
This
seeing the
movie was always
Falcon on
very much
screen.
about getting to him. If you imagine a place where the Jedi Order could have actually first emerged, that's what led me to Skellig Island at the end of this movie. Because this is a place that emerged in 600 AD as a Christian retreat from the world.
It's an ancient site of a monastery, and it's like nothing you've ever seen, ever.
Once you get up there, boy, it's so beautiful and so magical.
We're clearly going down.
Skellig was the first meeting of Rey and Luke, and so later on, there's such a big build-up.
There's a real ambiguity as to what his reaction is. I think he has great reservations. He's really conflicted. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, this was never his story, this movie. It was all about him. It was all about how critical Luke is to the continuation of this amazing story. So what I'm most excited about is the story of Luke Skywalker and where it goes.
I think for many people, a marker is Star Wars. I know it's a film, but actually it means much more than that. For me, Star Wars seemed like a kind of universe that might accept me. There might be a place for me in that universe.
People love it so much. It is a family experience. That's what it is. It's not even a movie. Just families do Star Wars together. It's a verb.
This is like an opportunity to thank everyone for a lifetime of support, of love. If it weren't for the fans, we wouldn't be sitting here. And I've never forgotten that.
The other day, I was looking at that original poster, and I was remembering there was something about Star Wars that made me feel like anything was possible. That, like, when you see that star field, it felt like every point of light was a story.
The value that people place in these stories is deep and abiding. These stories have been passed down in families from generation to generation. It becomes valuable as a family experience, and so it's passed down like family history.